Today I want to be respectful of your time, so let's just dive straight into it. Let's get wise together. Let's dive in with the wisdom. Clarity is kindness. Tailoring your communication depending on the situation is one of the greatest forms of respect. Let's look at an illustration that complements today's principle of wisdom, and it's one that I have done brand new just for this piece of wisdom. Simply, what you could say and what you should say are very different things. Respect your audience's time. We've all been there, right? Perhaps it was that 30-minute meeting that could have just been an email, or maybe it was a 2-hour lecture that could have been explained in a quarter of the time. And heck, if you've ever read any terms and conditions of any service, you'll know that half of that stuff could be gotten rid of. Whatever your experience that you are thinking about, you can identify an instance where someone has not respected your time by not being considerate of you, the audience of their communication. And today's saying very much backs this up. I would have written a shorter letter, but I did not have the time. That comes courtesy of Blaise Pascal. And what he's getting at is quite pertinent, right? Being concise isn't lazy, it's typically intentionality at its finest. It requires thought, effort, and respect for the other person on the other side of the message. Now let's look at today's explanation and pack this out further. We often think of good communication is about saying more, right? More detail, more explanation, more depth, typically more words. But the reality is that good communication is about saying what matters with clarity. Because communication isn't about expression, it's about that connection. And connection only really happens when the other person truly understands you. And this shows up in everyday life, right? We've all experienced, that long email that no one really needed to read, or we've all been in a meeting where someone's over-explaining something and just frankly losing people's attention. Or maybe it's rambling in that interview instead of actually answering the question. In each of these cases, the intention might be good, but the impact falls short. And so today I want to encourage you with these 3 ways to communicate more effectively. The first is to think about the receiver, not just the message. Before you speak or write, ask yourself, what does this person need to understand? Tailor your communication to their context, not just your thoughts. The second is to simplify before you send. Take that extra minute to cut out the unnecessary words. Clarity often comes from editing, not adding. In fact, my wife reviews every single Wiser newsletter before I send it, and she'll often make suggestions, ways to kind of make it a little less waffly. So apologies if I do go off piste. And then third and finally, it is to respect the attention as resource. People's time and focus are limited, perhaps more so now than ever before. And so when you communicate clearly and concisely, you are showing that you value both. Clear communication isn't about saying less for the sake of it, it's about making what you said truly land. If you want to learn more about today's principle of wisdom, I encourage you to reflect on these 3 journal prompts. This will help you to identify how it fits into your life. The first is, where might I be overcomplicating my communication? The second is, who am I communicating with and what do they really actually need from me? And then the third and final one is, how could I make my next message clearer and simpler? If you want to learn more about the life-changing habit of journaling, check out journalwise.com. But for now, let's move on to today's resource. And I've got one that you should all be familiar with. It's me, it's my visuals. I've produced hundreds of illustrations for your viewing pleasure, and they're currently being used by coaches, creators, entrepreneurs, and authors all around the world to communicate their messages more succinctly with their audiences. If you want to receive more than just your weekly visual in these videos, then I encourage you to check out any of my social media platforms, typically all under Wisdom Made Easy. Alternatively, on LinkedIn, I go by Michael J. Borman. And if you would ever want your own visuals created, I encourage you to reach out. I'm currently taking on new visual clients. So if you've got a book or a social media presence that you want to amplify with Wisdom Made Easy visuals, I'm just a message away. Thank you for checking out today's video version of Wiser. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you are subscribing for more videos coming soon, and consider checking out the playlist here for more videos.